Hey, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the 6 new hypercharges in the game. This applies to Leon, Crow, Fang, Miko, Edgar, and Dynamite. First, I'll go over Leon's hypercharge. His hypercharge, when activated, gives him a 20% speed boost, 25% damage boost, and 25% shield. And then when he activates his super while hypercharged, he stays invisible even if he were to attack. Honestly, I see this as a pretty balanced hypercharge. I don't see it being the most OP thing, but I can also see where it could be very useful. As an example, in Brawl Ball, let's say an enemy's guarding a ball. He activates his hypercharge, goes invisible, enemy doesn't know where he's at, attacks them, still invisible, grabs the ball, and he has his smoke trail star power equipped. He could just easily walk that ball into the goal. That's an example I saw personally happen, but overall I think it's just a good, decent hypercharge. Nothing too crazy, but nothing bad, like Pearl's hypercharge. Next brawler who got a hypercharge is Crow. This gives him a 20% speed boost, 30% damage boost, and 25% shield. When he uses his super while hypercharged, all of his knives or daggers from his super are all piercing now. So they'll go through enemies and potentially hit another enemy as well. And then when he lands on the ground from his super, all those daggers will come back to him like a boomerang. Honestly, I see this as pretty good, like high damage, especially against a high safe. That will do like around 50% of the high safe, which is just crazy broken, but it's probably a rare, that won't happen every game, because enemies usually aren't that dumb to allow a Crow like that on your safe. But yeah, I can see him becoming meta again since his slowing toxin gadget got nerfed in one of the most recent updates. The next brawler who got a hypercharge is Fang. He gets a 25% speed boost, 20% damage boost, and a 25% shield. When he's hypercharged, his super can go through walls and drops 4 big popcorn behind him, or depending how far he travels, but 4 at the max length. I see this hypercharge being very good for Fang. I don't think the actual hypercharge itself is that crazy broken, but the stats, the 20% damage and the 25% shield, that is what is gonna make it OP, because he's already pretty hard to kill when he supers onto you. Now it's just game over when he supers onto you when hypercharged. So I see this hypercharge being very strong, and I would highly recommend getting it. And I find the popcorn dropping on the ground not that useful. It's very situational, but I mean, anything's better than nothing. But overall, this is a great hypercharge for Fang. The next brawler getting a hypercharge is Miko, the newest brawler to Brawl Stars. He gets a 20% speed boost, 25% damage buff, and a 25% shield. Now when he activates his hypercharge, his super will then stun brawlers when he lands on the ground. I see this hypercharge as really bad, okay? Because it takes forever to get up into the air and then to actually land on the ground. So the best way I see this as, you do like 3 attacks when you activate and then activate super, so you get the most value out of the hypercharge. But even then, the stun isn't that good. Sure, they're stun for a second, but Miko honestly isn't that good from what I've played and seen of him. But I am willing to give him a shot, so maybe you'll see another video about him. But in the meantime, I just don't see this being that good, and I would not recommend getting this hypercharge if you do have the option to. Moving on to the next brawler, Edgar. He gets a 20% speed boost, 25% damage boost, and a 25% shield. His whole hypercharge is that when he activates his hypercharge, his super is going up like his gadget, and his reload speed increases as well. This makes Edgar pretty good, okay, just purely based off the damage buff and the shield. Okay, that makes him a little bit more tanky, just more damage to take out those brawlers. And honestly, I've seen him dominating games because of that, and I've gotten team wipes just because of that hypercharge. So this is a hypercharge you definitely shouldn't sleep on. Last but not least, Dynamite. He gets a 25% speed boost, 30% damage boost, and a 15% shield. When he uses his super while hypercharged, his barrel spawns a lot of small dynamites around it. Now this hypercharge is OP for area control. It's such a wide radius, it's impossible to not get hit by it if you're somewhat near it. And it's also easily rechargeable, so you can just chain supers while being hypercharged. Fun thing about it, if you have the Dyna Jump star power clip, the big barrel, you can Dyna Jump off that, and then you can Dyna Jump off the small dynamites from it, and it leads to some very fun play. That's all the hypercharges coming in this update. Here is my recommendation of what ones to get first. I'd say go for Fang's hypercharge first, purely because of the stats increase. That just makes him so OP, cause him supering through walls is also OP, but just based on the pure buffs he gets while hypercharged, that's what makes it really good for him. Then I'll go with Edgar's hypercharge, because honestly it's like a brand new brawler. Well, not a brand new brawler, but like a brawler that's finally playable and can actually make some plays, and someone you don't just write off as not important. So you shouldn't be sleeping on Edgar's anymore if they have their hypercharge. Then I go for Dynamite's hypercharge because the area control with it is just crazy, and the fact that you can just keep chaining them is just crazy good for team wipes and area control. Then I go for Crow's hypercharge because when played right, he can do heaps of damage, but I don't see it as the most broken thing, only in certain situations. Then I go for Leon's hypercharge because it's pretty balanced, honestly. I'd say it's the most fair one. Nothing too crazy, nothing too weak, just overall a good one. And then last but not least, Miko's hypercharge. Honestly, I wouldn't get it because I don't think Miko's that good in general, and this hypercharge doesn't really make him too much stronger. That's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like, and I'll see you next time.